So, Nadia here from Addicted Magazine with Trevor Guthrie. Hi, Trevor. So, let's get the awkward conversation out of the way. You're not just a musician, you're a handyman.
Apparently not. I thought it was.
Oh, so what happened?
Oh, man. I was renovating my house in Penticton. It was originally my grandma's for 40 years of me growing up there. And
Wow.
so I was trying to just renovate it. I was doing some work on the fireplace, using this grinder and trying to polish some mortar off it. And I took the guard off it, which you're not supposed to do.
No.
But I had my safety goggles on, my earpiece, and my
you had your PPE.
mask. Yeah. But I got distracted for a second, and it's all it takes.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Eyes on task, mind on task, guys. Come on.
And I know better than that too, but just.
Well, here's hoping you heal up so you can continue to make amazing music, but you didn't do anything to your voice, which makes the rest of us... Oh, no, don't even joke. So, let's start from the beginning. You have been in the music business for a long, long time. I am a huge Soul Decision fan. Indecision, Soul Decision. Which name did you want to keep?
The fact that you know that, you definitely are
I'm a little older than I look, probably, so I am definitely a big, big fan. So what precipitated the name change?
At the time, I think there was another band in the States using it, and they were going to budge. So we were like, whatever, just.
You guys were the better band, though, I'm sure. So.
I don't know. It's just a name at the time, so.
That's true, and the music speaks for itself, and it's that kind of also led to a lot of the pop music that we hear these days. So you guys definitely had a great influence. So what was it like, kind of going from the whole band thing, making music, writing music, to the amazing collaborations that you've been doing, and now lending your voice to some of the dance music that people all over the world are, hanging out in clubs to?
Yeah, it wasn't an easy transition because being in a boy band, it kind of, when the dust settled, it was people didn't really take me seriously as an artist or let alone a songwriter.
Did people really consider Soul Decision like a boy band? Like, to me, you guys were a real band.
Well, that's
much.
what I thought too.
Yeah.
But if you look back at the marketing, teen magazines and.
It's a good point. And the fact that you guys were lookers too didn't hurt.
Lookers,
so.
Yeah. Well, I think Dave used to say that. He used to say that, like, if we didn't have a certain look, it wouldn't matter. But it's just because we have a certain look, that's why we marketed the way we are. And it just, at the time it was working. We were selling records. We were playing big venues, and we had lots of fans. And it just, you go with it. And then when the dust settles, it's like, oops.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was tough for about 10 years trying to get out there, but I never stopped. I always wrote, and it was just when Armin Van Buren came along and.
Kind of stopped you there.
Yeah, I had a chance to collaborate with him and sent him a very personal song of mine, which was more of a ballad at the time. And he loved it and produced it, put it out there, and
that's amazing.
Changed everything. Yeah.
So that song actually started out as a ballad. What was it like for you then?
Well, he had a track that he was sending around, right? To for writers, and at the same time, I found out a good friend of mine was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. Oh, wow. I think he had 17 weeks to live. So. I was supposed to be writing a song for Armin, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I'd rather write this song for my friend right now, right? So I put myself in his family situation and thinking, what is going through his wife's mind right now, and that's kind of the lyrics that came out in the melody. But I used the chord progression that Armin had sent around for his track, but I went to the piano and just kind of wrote on piano, and then me and Jensen Vaughn recorded it, and I was like, don't send this to Armin, it's a bit...
It's personal. It's
personal, it's sad, and he's a dance guy, you want to send him something to impress him.
Right.
Jensen didn't listen to me, sent it to him anyways, and 3 months later he sends me this quotation, text message, brilliant. I'm like, what? Because that's what Armin thinks of the song. I'm like, you sent it to me? He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, dude, why do you do it? He goes, man, he wants to release it, he's going to produce it. And
that's incredible.
Yeah, so it turned out well. He promoted it, and my friend Robert got to, hear it on the radio, and that made him feel great, and toured the world with Armin. It really gave me a platform to be able to do what I'm doing now. So.
And that's an incredible kind of start to that story. Like, it came from such a beautiful, heartfelt place, so it's no surprise at all that Armin felt that and took it to that next level. So now your friend has this amazing legacy, to inspire this song that's been heard all around the world. So that's phenomenal. Congratulations on that one. Obviously sad that it came from that kind of a place, but what's a better gift to get from someone? That's awesome.
Me and his family talk all the time about that. It's a good feeling to have that, knowing that he had that out there, and definitely. That's
wonderful. And it sounds like a lot of your music comes from these kind of very heartfelt, almost tribute-like places. I was reading about your song, Strong Hands, that you wrote for veterans. Tell me a little bit about that.
During the hiatus from Soul Decision and now, I really got into meeting World War II veterans. I traveled to Normandy for the 60th anniversary to stand on the beaches with a few hundred Canadian veterans that made the trip over to be a part of it, and I
Yeah.
met a lot of guys and kept in contact with them. And
Mm-hmm.
one guy in particular that I actually grew up with across the street, which I didn't even know. I wasn't really a big fan of him at the time.
Yeah.
He seemed really grumpy to me, right? But when I found out he was a veteran, and let alone a D-Day veteran, stormed the
Right.
beaches of Normandy, I was just like, oh man, can I come and talk to you? And you know, he's just, I became his best friend, and he would tell me stories and
Wow.
crying, and you
Yeah.
know, just amazing things. He was, I haven't talked about that in years, and I haven't told anybody else about that. And so I
Mhm.
just felt this like really honored that he would allow me to hear these stories about
Mhm.
personal things. And I said,
Yeah.
you know, somebody should promote you guys. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll write a song about these kind
Yeah.
of stories. So I did, and it took 10 years to get the song out.
Yeah.
Since Armin gave me this platform, I've been able to do that. So I
That's
built this
amazing.
kind of video in my backyard to honor these guys, and was hoping to raise money for wounded warriors to help out the veterans who live with PTSD.
That's incredible. I was actually going to say, with these songs and the work that you're doing, it's a great way to kind of connect not only the platform to share this information and share these stories, but also to have that kind of give back factor of being able to raise money, whether it's for diseases or veterans. So that's awesome that you kind of connected the two. Is that something that going forward you're going to be trying to do a little bit more?
Oh yeah,
or?
that'll never end. And I'm hoping Strong Hands will resurface every Remembrance Day, and more and more people get it and where it's from, and
Mhm.
just keep help supporting, and just, I mean, you download it's $1, right? It's not
Yeah.
really a big contribution. It helps, but it's just also the awareness that Wounded Warriors is out there,
Yeah.
and they do great things for the veterans, and not just veterans. I mean, I have friends that struggle with PTSD and
Right.
depression and addiction, and it's
Yeah.
all part of it, right?
It
So
is. And it's a really, really great thing to do, especially in this day and age, to shed more light on mental illness
Mhm.
and take away that stigma, and using, the power of your celebrity and your reach to be able to do that. So
Mhm.
that's awesome. Speaking of amazing music that you're putting out, your new single, Wanted,
Mhm.
is pretty sweet. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Who are you working with on that? Because it's kind of, again, combining the soulful, the ballad-like lyrics and vocals with
You
really,
know,
really
you-
awesome dance tracks.
So you don't know what it's about.
I don't know,
Okay.
actually, so tell me.
Well, I mean, we're on this topic, so I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, I mean, part of the reason I guess I work with these guys, Wounded Warriors, and
Yeah.
other friends. I mean, I've dealt with depression as well, and
Right.
it's it's a struggle. And I've also been in a relationship with somebody, my best friend, that she dealt with that. She's
Yeah.
still dealing with it. Mental health, and it leads to addiction. And
Yeah.
if anybody is familiar with that, it's just a cycle that goes around and around. And you try to help people, you try to talk about it, and they don't want to open up about it, and they don't want to talk about it because they don't think you understand.
Yeah.
And I can on some of the levels that people suffer. It's just not the same level that I've dealt with,
Of course.
and but when addiction gets involved, it's just even worse. And
Yeah.
you can't help somebody if they don't
Yeah.
admit to themselves that they have a problem.
100%. That's a big part of why our magazine is called Addicted. It was
Right.
about my business partner's struggle with addiction and
Mhm.
coming out the other end, that's a really key point. As much as you want to try to be there for someone and understand, if you haven't lived through it and you don't have those experiences, you can't.
You can't, and it's just so hard to watch somebody just go down that path knowing that you see where it's going and they don't see it, and it's just
Yeah.
it's sad, it's heartbreaking. And so I wrote Wanted, and it was a message to her, and just to let her know that you are wanted.
That's incredible.
And yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it is. I lived through that. Like, I watched my best friend of 10 years, like, literally, he disappeared from my life for like 2 years, and that was why. It was because of addiction and all that. And amazingly that he came out the other end, and now we've got this amazing collaboration, and we're working
Fantastic.
together. So hopefully that can give you a little bit of hope for your friend, and
Mhm.
the fact that you can put out amazing music that is inspired by that, but also hopefully to inspire her own recovery and to
Mhm.
show her that there is so much more. And that's, I think, the biggest thing with people who do struggle with addiction, is there's a lack of that self-worth. And like, I still hear that from him sometimes here and
Mhm.
there, where he's like, I can't believe people have stood by me and done this and that. But if it's not for people like us who do stand by the people that we love and that need that, even if they don't think that they're worthy of it or deserve it. So, and here's another song that's probably going to take off all over the world, and it's going to be undeniable to her now too, that not only is she wanted and she's valued, she's going to be inspiring other people from around the world because she inspired that song. And that's incredible too, that it's such a poppy, uplifting sounding song, but the lyrics are so deep and come from such a deep place. Is that kind of dichotomy? Is that something that you aim to do?
Yeah, I
or
mean,
how
I think
does
I
that
took a
work?
page out of Armin's book where you have this sad message in a song, but when you bring it into more of a poppy or lights or
Mhm.
or make people dance and they smile, they're ingesting the lyrics, but they don't realize it. And
Yeah.
then when you start to hear the story, or you start to dissect and go, oh wow, is this actually like a sad song? And it's just, so people can hear it and take away from it, oh, I think it's actually about somebody that's suffering from depression or, you know, addiction. It just helps people talk about it and open up that, I mean, there's millions of people that suffer from this on a day-to-day basis.
And a lot of them suffer in silence too, or actually in a very similar way to the song, they kind of put on that brave face and that happy face, and underneath the surface there's a lot more darkness. So kind of that contrast of the darkness of the lyrics and the lightness of the music is pretty evidentiary of that as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that as well. I really appreciate it. So what's kind of on deck next? What are you looking forward to? Are you going to be doing any touring? Not any more home renovations, I don't imagine.
The right people. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not taking any more shows right now until I deal with this, but
I mean, you can put like a Dayglow cast on that.
Dayglow.
Kind of go back. Neon is back. The
You're
90s brought it out.
Hiding this
Exactly. No, just draw attention to it. Get some designer to do something up for you. Get a different one for every show. Run with it.
It's only 4 weeks to go. It's the rehab I got to deal with. But
oh no.
I can still write. I can write on piano and one hand.
Awesome. Has anything been inspired by this close call?
Same kind of topic, but not really. But just this kind of happened because of all that as well, right? It's just distraction. And
it's hard.
So but no, I've been able to write, and I've got another couple songs in the can ready to go. So
awesome. What other collaborations can we potentially look for? Are there any dream collaborations that you like?
One of my dream collaborations is possibly coming out. The song's already been submitted and it's been chosen, but we haven't heard back in a few months. You know, the industry's changed, and what may have happened a year ago may not be what's happening now.
100%.
You know, I mean, Kygo's kind of killing it right now with all the. He's killing it in a good way. I'm a big fan, but the guys that I worked with, you know, last August, it's a different style. It's more of the big stadium anthem kind of thing. So I'm assuming they're working on the production to get it right. But if it goes through, it's going to be really good collaboration as well. So.
Anybody else that you'd like to work with? Put it out there, manifest it.
I'd love to do a duet, maybe with somebody like Rihanna or somebody. I don't know.
That would be epic. Well, manifesting works. You never know. Put the vibes out there. That would be sick if we could hear a Trevor Rihanna collaboration. Would you want it to be kind of like hitting a bit of that island vibe that she puts out there? Or?
Well, I don't know. I don't know when this collaboration is going to happen. I mean,
it's going to happen.
A year from now, and the music industry is different. So
we're making it happen.
You got to just kind of do what's coming out now, but I don't know. The song comes first. A good song is a good song, and then worry about the production second.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap this up by asking you, and especially since we've touched on the topic of addiction and why we started the Addicted magazine concept, is because once you come out of the other side of addiction, you can actually find a lot of positivity to that concept. You can be addicted to things that drive you, that make you accomplish amazing things, and especially kind of in contrast to how the darkness of addiction can really take that away from a lot of people. So that's a big thing for us that we always want to highlight. So if you were to pick a positive addiction besides home renovation, what would you say that it would be?
Health. I mean, ever since this happened, I've just, I've kicked sugar, alcohol, anything else that I shouldn't be doing, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, coffee.
How do you give up coffee?
Just because when this happened, I just was so focused on this. 3 or 4 days went by, and I was like, hey, I haven't had any of those bad things. I'm like, well, just keep going, and now it's been 2 weeks and eating raw food for most of the day, and
trying to heal up faster.
Yeah.
Kickstart it.
Yeah, but I feel great. It's amazing. I get less sleep and I have more energy.
And that's a really actually great positive addiction. If you can drive that and run with it, then who knows what you can accomplish. The coffee thing though, man.
It was
good for you.
It just happened so fast I didn't realize I hadn't had it in 4 days. I'm like, oh, well, there's 5, there's 6. The next thing you know, it's like,
you're done.
Don't care, don't need it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Trevor. You are awesome. This was really, really fun for me. Thank you so much again.